All right, just gonna wait on some people to show up. Found something really cool. What my dad did. Some goals that I set when I was in high school. I'm gonna show you those later. It also glad my dad doesn't throw anything away. Sometimes that can be frustrating, but at the same time, awesome that he found these goals. I think the goals are from my sophomore year, going into my sophomore year of high school. So I was going to show those and read off a couple of them. It was the first time I can really remember writing down organized goals. I had some things, I wrote down in the past, but this was something, that was really, really organized. It really meant a lot to me, and I really tried to stay with them. All right, so, it's a great day for a great day. I'm excited to get the week started. Had a great weekend. I hope everyone out there stayed safe. I know I had a great weekend with my kids, my wife. Got some things done, relaxed a little bit. I really had a good weekend. But now, it's time to get focused on the next week, and that's why I like to do this video on Sunday. I don't like to wait until Monday morning, definitely. Not even Sunday night. I like to get started Sunday afternoon, so I've already kind of written down my goals for the week, and I want to encourage everyone to write those down. But, first of all, I want to go over a couple things. This is the end of April. So, I really get to nerd out today and review how I did for the month of April, and then, get started on what I want to do for May. But like I said, at the end, I'm going to share some goals that my dad found from when I was a high school athlete at George Washington High School, some of the things I wanted to accomplish. I'll show you those things at the end. But so first of all, one of the main themes of my book and things that I do personally is I have one page. If you can see this here, it's got all my goals on it. It's got, a mission statement, a personal mission statement, 3 big goals for the year, stuff like that. So it's everything that I want to do on one page. And the reason I try to put it all on one page is so I can read it, within 5-10 minutes. It doesn't take 10 minutes, but about 2 to 4 minutes actually to get that stuff in my head and focused on the things that I want to do. But I have... So I have this is my month of April, and I went through it, made some marks on there, and just graded myself, just a, blatant way for me to be honest with myself, to see if I'm on track, see if I'm doing the things that I want to do. Obviously, I'm not always on track. There are some things, that I've been doing well. There's some things that I need to do much better at. And so this just gives me a way to give myself some honest feedback, and that way I can't lie to myself and say, "Oh, you're doing fine," or "Man, I'm not doing anything." I can get a good, clear idea of where I'm at. So I went through and just graded myself, just like you would a teacher on a spelling test or something, and went back through and found different ways that I could improve. Then I started, making my month of May, what I want to do for the month of May. Obviously, things are different. For April, way different than they were in March. In March, I was just, everything was geared on getting ready for spring practice and what we were doing, in our normal world. Now in April, it's totally different. I had to kind of shift gears, and feels good, gives me a lot of clarity to write this stuff down, and want to encourage you to do that. So that's what I did. I reviewed the month of April, the good and the bad, and then made corrections on some of the things I want to do this month. I've got to got to wrap up our semester with West Virginia State. I got some things I'm trying to make, planners for my book that I made. I've got a class I'm making for that. I've got really working on my offensive playbook, trying to get that done earlier in the summer. So a lot of things, a lot of little projects I have, and so I'm kind of writing those out. Next, I'll go through and review, last week. You can see how nerdy I get here. I've got my own notebook for my goals, but I just want to show it to anyone out there that's doing it. Like I said, it's good for me. It gives me a lot of clarity in what I'm doing, and talk a little bit about why I'm doing it. But got it all filled out for each week, and I just do the same thing and just grade myself. Write out the habits that I want to achieve. That's basically the main thing that I try and stay on track with. I didn't. I had a pretty good week, but there were some things that I didn't do very well. Some things that I did well early in the week and I didn't do well at the end of the week. And, but this page really keeps me grounded. It keeps me, every night when I look at it, like last week, I was maybe struggling a little bit with some of the new changes in my life. And so I just wrote down, find joy. That was one of the big whys for me. And every night I read that, just reminded me to try to find joy in the things that I'm doing, even though it's not maybe what I want to be doing. I get frustrated that I'm not out there coaching football, but everyone's got different issues they're dealing with. So I really tried to be intentional about finding, the joy that I was having in my life right now, being home with my kids, those kind of things. But basically, so I went through and graded it to see how I did and to see if I wanted to make any changes for this week. Wrote out some of the changes that I made and for this coming week. So what I do is write down my goals for the month. Hey, baby. I write down my goals for the month. I write out different goals for the week. So, big thing for me this week is the offensive playbook. Got some free time right before finals week hit, and I'm going to talk about, my offensive playbook with our team. So definitely wanted to write down, those things and get that done. Trying to get some speakers to our meetings. That was big. And then trying to get these planners and these courses that I'm creating, get a rough draft done. So I wrote all that out. Different goals I've got for that. Big goal for me is my morning routine. If you don't have one, highly recommend it. It makes every other habit I have better. And I've got my partner here. Ava's going to set some goals for the week. So I go through and write those down, and every night I kind of check to see if I'm following those things, and just keeps me on track. It reminds me, a lot of times I'll forget. I'm constantly talking to our players, but I want to message 2 of them every night, and I'll maybe forget, and then at 9 o'clock I can remember and reach out to those guys. So it really helps me. Reminds me what to do. I jot down some other things, just random things I want to get done for the week that pop in my head. And then I fill out a time management sheet. This is it right here, just what I'm doing, every hour of the day. There's some buffer room in there, but I want to make sure I don't forget anything, and I'm on track. That's the biggest thing for me, is just staying disciplined to what I'm trying to do. With my kids, homeschooling, with West Virginia State, with projects that I have, trying to inspire people, online. And then, things that are important, socially, date night with my wife on Friday nights. We've been playing games virtually with our neighbors and friends. That's something I definitely want to keep doing. And for me, it's a non-negotiable. I need it. It's not, it's just as important as a meeting, with my boss or my players, anything like that. So I fill all that in, when I'm going to work out, when I'm going to eat, when I'm going to, do things with the kids, when I have all these Zoom meetings. I don't know about you all, but I'm on Zoom. It feels like 4 to 5 hours a day. So just, mapping all that out, very important for me. So once I get all that done, I'm ready to start the week. I've got my goals ready, for this week, what I want to achieve. So, I can kind of finish the night with some clarity and spend some time with my family. I've got everything mapped out as far as my time management. I know what I got to do throughout the week, and I always write out my morning routine and my night routine, just because, and that's what I want to talk about here real quick. I shared this with my team, but 5 reasons to write things down. When you write down, okay, I'm going to wake up at 4:45. I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to do my mental toughness exercise, and I'm going to read. It just makes it makes myself that much more committed to actually doing it. I've written it down. It's something I said I was going to do, so it becomes that much harder for me to hit the snooze button in the morning. But there's 5 reasons why you write things down, and this is stuff that I researched for my books. I'm just kind of regurgitating it. But number 1 is people that write things down earn 9 times as much money as those that don't. Now, this is from a study. It's a study that I found online. It's not like it's been researched over and over and over again. You could probably twist statistics any way you want, but at the end of the day, people can earn more money by just writing down their goals and what they want to achieve, and that's the point I want to make. Number 2, it's harder to quit. We have 5,000 or 60,000 thoughts per day in our mind, and once you write it down, it becomes that much harder to quit because you've stated that you're going to do this. That I said, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to get the week started right, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Makes it that much harder to quit. When you just kind of have it in your mind, it's easy to say, well, I'll just start tomorrow, or I'll start next week, or well, when this pandemic's over, I'll go on a diet, or whatever it is that you're telling yourself. Once you write it down, it becomes real. It becomes that much harder to quit. Next thing is get the whole team involved. I'm going to sound probably embarrass myself here by trying to talk about this, but it's in science. You got the imaginative side of your brain and the logical side of your brain, and once you write down your goals, goes from the imaginative side to the logical side. All right, so now you've got, instead of just one side of your brain, everything is working together. There's actually a fluid in there that runs through your spine and gets to every cell in your body, the corpus callosum. And once you write it down and it becomes a thought with a physical written down goal, every cell in your body works together to try and figure that out. Then that's the next point. You have new opportunities that you wouldn't have been able to see before without writing those things down. So it's kind of like when you buy a new car, you feel like you see that car everywhere. When I bought a new minivan, I'm a proud minivan owner. Felt like I saw minivans everywhere. Everywhere I went, I was noticing them more. And I think that's the same thing that happens when you write down your goals. You'll start noticing different things that it might not have caught your eye before. So it basically creates a whole new consciousness, subconsciousness that you wouldn't have had before, and you find those opportunities that you maybe wouldn't have been able to find if you wouldn't have written down your goals. And the last one, probably the main reason that I do it, is clarity. It really gets some thoughts out of my head. I know Sunday nights are always tough, to get to sleep when you're trying to think of all the things you got to do Monday morning or throughout the week. So this gives me an outlet, I call it a brain dump, just to puke out whatever's on my mind that I want to get done this week and just throw it down on a piece of paper. And then I can follow along each week to make sure, that I'm doing it. So that's the main reasons I do these things, and I hope it works for you all. I see some friends out there. Samantha Carney, wish we were working together. Samantha, would have had our spring game this weekend. Can't wait to get back out on the field. Just a lot of my friends out there. Coach Monroe, see you out there. Chad Albright, some of my friends checking in. Katie Vetter, a friend from elementary school. It's great to be able to connect with you guys. I really do nerd out and enjoy doing this goal setting thing, and I hope it helps you guys. But I wanted to share something real quick before I get off of here. From like I said, this is from my I don't know if you can see that. It's from my sophomore year of high school. My dad found this in his briefcase. I guess he had held on to it, knew that I might want it one day. It might be backwards for you guys, but it was. I wanted to have 1,000 yards receiving. I definitely didn't have that. There we go. It's backwards. 5 interceptions, 10 touchdowns, make the playoffs. Basketball, you can see my goals. Baseball, had some goals to be player of the year. I was not player of the year my sophomore year. I was, Kanawha County player of the year my senior year. So, was able to get some of those goals, were able to come true. Skill goals, get my 40 time down to 4.6 or better. That never happened, but I definitely worked on it. I love reading these goals. I was 15 years old, 14 years old, whatever. Wanted to military press 135 pounds. Wanted to weigh 170. Had some habit goals on here. Catch 30 footballs a day. Probably with my boy Hollis Lewis throwing to me. I wanted to take 100 swings a day, hit 100 balls off a tee, and shoot 50 shots a day. So those are some of my goals. This is really cool to see. I haven't looked at it. My dad gave it to me a couple days ago. But a lot of these goals came true. Not all of them, but a lot of them came true. And a big part of it was because I wrote it down, and it became something that was real to me, something that I said I was going to do. And so every day I was, working to achieve those things. And, am I a failure because I didn't achieve, I wasn't a first team all-county basketball player? I don't think so. I think, I might have failed at that goal, but at the same time, without even setting that goal, wouldn't have been able to achieve some of the other things I was able to achieve as a high school athlete. Anyways, thought that was pretty cool, writing these goals down. I know I have some from when I was a football player at WVU, and this is something that I've always done. Once I wrote these goals down in high school, I saw the power of goal setting, and when I was a senior, I achieved a lot of these goals. I did have 1,000 yards receiving. We did make the playoffs. We did win sectionals in basketball. I did bat over 400. I was player of the year in baseball. So I didn't win all these, achieve all these goals, but I achieved a lot of them, and it really struck me the power of goal setting and writing things down. So when I went to WVU, I wrote down that I wanted to be, I wanted to be a football player for West Virginia University and catch a touchdown. And, was able to do that. There were some other goals I didn't achieve, but I thought it was pretty cool. I hope you guys are, using this time to get your mind wrapped around what you got to do this week. We've got a great opportunity, to maximize our time at home, to figure out this virtual learning and figure out, different ways to do things online. I think when we get back to normal, there's going to be everything's going to be a lot different. I don't know if normal will be the same normal we're used to. So just trying to stay ahead of the pack, get everything ready for our team. And just for me, big thing this week is, like I said, my offensive playbook, and then just staying disciplined and getting some things done that I want to do, with building our online community and motivating people online. And it's fun. I mean, there's a lot of people on here that I get to connect with that I, haven't talked to in years, but just a chance to get back in touch and maybe, add something positive to your life. I hope it helped today, and I'll be back every Sunday. Just wanted to say, God bless, stay safe, and write your goals down. It'll help you achieve them. All right.